your God power. Get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. Thinking from your mind is like having your computer wirelessly connected at the highest speed possible to the internet 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It is always, that is, always connected to everything that exists. When you are accessing information or ability, you don't know if it's something that you actually learned yourself or something that you're acquiring right now, and it doesn't matter anyway. Was it something that was on your hard drive or from the universe? Who knows? And who cares? It is all available to you wherever it comes from. Many people have experienced thoughts and ideas that have come from their mind and not from their brains. They often call these ideas and thoughts hunches or inspirations because they recognize that it could not have come from their own brain as they have no basis for knowing it. But they just know that it is correct, and it is. Gut feelings come from the mind and not the brain. If it was from your brain, you would have a logical basis for the idea. But when you have no justification for it except a gut feeling that it is right or wrong, that is from your mind. Regarding brain injury or malady. While thinking with your mind instead of your brain is an amazing expansion of thinking ability for those who embrace it, it is especially important for those who have some sort of limitations caused by damaged representations, or damaged brains, as it were. That is to say, if you no longer have certain brain functions because of an accident or disease or whatever, then your resulting representation would limit your abilities. When you know that brain injury or malfunction has detrimental results, then it does. Not because your thinking ability and functionality has actually been impaired, but because you think that it has. When you think that your real functioning is in your brain, you naturally equate injury or damage to your brain as a problem. However, when you know that your real functions and abilities reside outside of your brain, in your energy body, in the non-physical realm, then you don't expect to experience any deficiencies regardless of the brain's quote-unquote condition. There is no brain function that cannot go on and function at normal or better than normal ability despite any apparent damage or physical malfunction that it may seem to have. However, when you are already experiencing some sort of brain problem, it might be hard to change your mind and believe that your brain is not needed to function normally. Perhaps you could enlist the services of a hypnotist who has also read this book to help you plant that thought deep in your mind. We will cover some amazing feats in Chapter 12, Changing Your Own Reality, that will assist you in this endeavor. I also outlined some very interesting and I believe valid things that you can do to make big changes in your experience in Chapter 14, what's theoretically possible, which will also help you with this kind of problem. But if you start thinking with your mind by saying so and knowing so, then your abilities in knowing will not only soar to amazing heights, but you will also be impervious to any brain injury or malfunction. Interestingly, when you know that you are immune to the effects of any harm that you may experience to your brain, you actually also, as a byproduct, become impervious to any brain injury or malfunction. This might require a little more explanation. When you worry that you may get old and lose your thinking ability, you actually attract it by the thought of it. It might come in the form of Alzheimer's disease or actual damage such as an aneurysm that burst or even a car accident. But when you feel invulnerable to harm, you become invulnerable to harm. This works in the same way as the placebo examples we first saw in Chapter 1, Your God Power. When you think that your body is going to heal, no matter why you think it, it starts to heal. In those examples, the patient took the doctor's word that the drug would work, and it did, even though it was really only sugar. You have great advantages to switching your thinking to your mind. And it should be easy for you to do so because you have the understanding and proof that backs up the idea that you were really thinking from your mind anyway. If people can see from their fingertips, they were never really seeing from their eyes. If they can see when they pop out of their body, even though their body is blind and even drained of blood on the operating table, then they were never really seeing from their eyes anyway. If they can taste what is in someone else's mouth, then they never were really using their own physical taste. As complex as the eye seems, with its lenses and retina and optic nerve and the visual cortex in the brain, if it isn't really doing anything, then what makes you think that the brain, as complex as it seems, is really doing anything either? It is not. Like the eye, it just appears to be. But in reality, that is, real reality, it is only a physical representation of your thinking ability and not the source of it. To make the switch, keep thinking that you are using your mind and have access to the whole universe, and before long, you will. Keep realizing that you have no limitations in your thinking, thoughts, or abilities based on what you already know or already can do. Like a computer connected to the World Wide Web, all of what you have already learned or can already do is just what you have on your own computer already. But you still have access to everything else in the world, or should I say, the universe. Catch yourself having ideas and thoughts that are clearly beyond your normal range. As you do, you will experience more and more of them until you will know that you are now firmly working from your mind.
To continue, go to How to Use Your God Power, chapter number 10, segment number 70. Let your quest for knowing continue.